Hello and welcome to the channel. I'm Annie, this is Stanley, and we're here to talk about books. And this is going to be my take on the very popular BookTube format of the Unhaul project. And I have to credit G over on Book Roast for inspiring the title, because in her shelf help series, she puts her books she's going to unhaul on the Yeet pile. And that was what gave me the idea for the name. And basically, I have created a subset of my physical and ebook TBR of 25 books, which I think I'm probably never going to pick up if I have other options, but I still want to give them a try and see whether I like them. So I've created a spinner wheel of all of these less appealing titles from my TBR. And when I run out of my main TBR in each month, I'm going to switch to this project and I'm going to select a book, give it 50 pages, and then decide whether to read it or yeet it. And that's how it's going to work. And I'm going to keep doing that until I run out of days in the month and then move on to my next TBR. So welcome to Read It or Yeet It. Here we are again, Stanley. Read It or Yeet It, July, Spin of Doom, number 1. What's it gonna be? Okay. So, The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin is probably the book that has been on and off my TBR the most out of any book ever, because people keep recommending it to me, and then I put it on the list, and then I think about it, or I look it up, or I read reviews, or other people tell me about it, and then I take it off, and then someone recommends it to me, and I put it back on again. So this is actually currently on quite a few people's TBRs, I think, because a lot of people, including me, are doing Herkyed 2.0, hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. And one of the bingo squares is to read a lot of different types of queer representation, one of which is gender fluid. And this comes to mind. So it very recently went back on the TBR, and now the spinner wheel has picked it, and I'm going to have to read it. So I really don't know what I'm going to get with this, because, as I say, been on, been off, been on, been off. Wanted to read it, didn't want to read it. I've had some mixed experience with Le Guin before. Didn't get on with Earthsea. Do remember enjoying reading The Dispossessed for Family Book Club. And earlier this year, I read The Word for World is Forest, which was a tough read. It was not a jolly book, but it was very, very good. So I really don't know what to expect, but I'm going to give it a go. 50 pages is the rule. Let's get on with it and see what happens. Please forgive the lighting, the camera angle, and possibly the audio, but Dave has taken all of the recording equipment for an event, and I wanted to get this out of the way. So here we are. I have read some of The Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin, and unfortunately not for me. Very, very tedious, almost incomprehensible. There was an awful lot of detailed exploration of an alien society without much explanation. The narrator was there on a mission of some kind to get the planet to join with whatever interplanetary government he represented, and he said that the natives of the planet should not be gendered, and yet he was gendering them based on how they presented to him and using he him pronouns
for the one that he had been closest to while he was there. And yet, that character, when talking about the planetary leader, who was referred to as a king, which is a gendered title, used he, him pronouns for the king. So it seemed very inconsistent. And that was the case in the folk tale that was part of the whole of, in fact, chapter 2, which I also found quite tedious and quite unpleasant. So internal consistency, not really there. I had to read several passages of it multiple times and still didn't really follow what was going on. So I have to admit, I only actually got to page 25, so I didn't even hit page 50. I'm not interested, unfortunately. So Stanley, can we? Oh, here we go. Hey. Well, so let's move on.
Spinning, ever spinning. Oh, what's it going to do to me now? Okay. Could be terrifying. Oh, I don't think I'm happy about this. I've only ever tried one Rivers Solomon book before, Unkindness of Ghosts, and I DNF'd it at the end of the first chapter because it was so grim. I just couldn't do it. So I'm not massively invested about this. And also, I have megalothalassophobia, which, if you don't know, is a fear of large things in deep water. And if you have it, do not look it up on the internet, because the pictures that will come up when you search it on Google will traumatize you forever. I know I should have realized that would happen. Stupid me. Anyway, so this, I don't know whether you can see, it's shadowy in the background. There's a giant whale. So even looking at the cover of this book freaks me out. But I am doing Herkyed 2.0, hardest region challenge you'll ever do. And one of the prompts is spooky creatures. And one of the specific requirements for that is sea creatures. And it's got mermaids, fantasy sea creatures, mermaids. It's also got probably whales, because there's a whale on the cover. So I'm going for it. It's short, so maybe I can push through, but we'll see. I'll read 50 pages. 50 pages is nearly a third of the book. So I figure once I've got that far, but maybe it will all be too much. Maybe 50 pages. I didn't get 50 pages into an Unkindness of Ghosts. So I guess, Stanley, I'm scared. You'll sit next to me while I read it, won't you? Okay.
So, The Deep by Rivers Solomon. It's not freaking me out, which is good. I was worried about that with it being set deep in the ocean, but not freaking me out. It did take me a little while to get into it. It's not really a story to begin with. It's quite nebulous, very repetitive. In the first sort of 30 pages or so, it's about mer people who live in the ocean, and Yetu is their historian. They don't really retain their memories very well, and a historian is assigned to collect and keep the memories of the people as a whole, and to then share them with the whole community once a year. But Yetu is struggling with that duty because she's finding it harder and harder to separate reality from the memories that she holds. And so once she has released them to her people, she flees because she doesn't want to have to take them back. And then the book basically starts again. with the history of the Mer people, and that's actually engaging me a lot more. So I've reached page 55, which is about a third of the way through the book because it's pretty short, and I'm much more engaged by the history, despite the fact that it's told in quite a remote fashion, with not a lot of direct action. It's very much summary, but yeah. I'm gonna carry on and finish it because otherwise I'm gonna have to find another book with sea creatures in for the Hercule challenge, and I don't want that. So I think I will make it through this one, and I'm interested to find out whether we go back to Yetu and find out what happens to her. And I'm also interested in the development of the history of the Mer people. So yeah, gonna carry on with the deep. It's not freaking me out, so I'm grateful. So no yeeting this time, Stanley.
So, I have finished The Deep by Rivers Solomon, and I survived the deep with my megalothalassophobia. I'm glad I didn't love it though, because otherwise I'd want to keep it, and the cover still freaks me out with the shadowy whales, just no. But yeah, I'm glad I carried on. I didn't connect to it quite as much as I maybe wanted to. But it definitely came together a lot more in the end. Although I have to say that with both of the narrative threads, my engagement kind of ebbed and flowed, shall we say, over the course of the story. See what I did there? Yeah, I think I probably didn't get some of the deeper meanings of some of the aspects of the story, but then other aspects of the story were really bluntly stated in a way that was a bit over the top for me. So that was an odd combination. I was interested where Yetu, the historian's narrative thread, went, and I thought it developed well over the course of the book. I wasn't so sure about the sort of flashback thread that seemed a bit disconnected, a bit fractured, a bit nebulous. The very end, I liked the romance that turned up. And the very end, I really wanted to kind of just go with it and think, wow, that was really beautiful, but it just didn't quite land for me for some reason. But overall, I'm glad I read it, as I said. And yeah, I'm going to give it 3.5 stars. How do you look so calm? Round it goes. Oof. Oh, don't know about that. Oh. So, I have a terrible confession to make about At the Scent of Water by Linda Nichols. I picked it up in a charity shop not so long ago because it's going to help me fulfill one of the harder prompts for Hercule 2.0, hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. There's one which is Become the Avatar, where you have to find books with air, wind, fire and water in the titles. And I picked it up because it's got water in the title. I thought, excellent. And I read the back. It's about a surgeon and a young woman hoping to escape painful reminders of her grief. Something to do with tragedies in emergency surgery, deadly cascades of events. The young woman is a reporter, so newspaper headline takes her home. It sounded quite interesting. And I thought, yeah, give it a go. Potentially my kind of book. And then when I was putting the details on my TBR spreadsheet, I looked it up on Goodreads to find out what the genre was, and the first thing that was listed was Christian fiction, and that immediately put me off. And I do feel a bit bad about that, because why should it? I mean, yes, I'm not religious, but I read a lot of books with religious characters. It doesn't bother me. I find it quite interesting, but just something about that being the top genre on Goodreads put me off, and I almost unhauled it immediately. And I thought, no, I need it for the prompt, for the challenge. And why? Why am I rejecting it because of that? So even having decided to keep it, it was probably not going to get to the top of the reading pile very quickly. So that's why I put it on the spinner wheel. So I'm going to give it a good college try. 50 pages, see how it goes, and then I'll come back and decide whether to read it or yeet it. So I am back at the 50 or so page mark of At the Scent of Water by Linda Nichols. Look at Stanley. He's drunk on the power, or on the tea. I don't know. We're not going to yeet it, Stanley. I'm sorry. No more yeeting in this episode, because I'm quite enjoying it. I would say, get the elephant in the room out of the way first. The religious aspects, the characters do think about God quite a lot. There are quite a few Bible quotes. There's praying, which I expected. And they do jar a little bit, but I think that's probably me rather than the book, because I'm just not used to that in books. It actually pointed out to me how little religion plays a part in contemporary and historical books that I read. So this one is specifically a Christian fiction book. So it's there. It is referenced. Maybe it was a bit heavy-handed to begin with, but it's kind of settled down. And it kind of crops up now and then. And I think it is going to be a major theme of the story, which is fair. But yeah, just emphasized how little it happens, when you'd think that there would probably be more in contemporary stories and in historical stories set in our world. But there you go. So that's an interesting experience for me. I'm quite enjoying it so far. It's quite sad. There's two characters, Sam and Annie. I've always liked a book with a protagonist called Annie, and I do like her a lot. She's a journalist, so she's a writer. So I connect to that, definitely. And they've suffered a terrible tragedy, and which has driven them apart. And I think the book is going to be about them potentially, don't know yet, finding their way back to each other. The writing is really beautiful. It's really beautiful. It's immersive. It's rich, very descriptive, very detailed. So I'm definitely sinking into the world of the book, which is our world. It's not a fantasy book. But yes, the specific setting is grabbing me. I'm getting on really well with it. So I'm quite looking forward to reading more and finding out what happens. So again, glad that this project exists, so that I would have read this book when I might not have done otherwise. And no more yeeting. Sorry, Stanley. So I'm going to go and read some more, and I will come back when I've finished for my final thoughts. So I have finished At the Scent of Water by Linda Nichols. And I really enjoyed this book. It was great. It was involving. It was emotionally resonant. I related to the characters. I got massively invested in their story, to the extent that multiple times during the week I almost missed getting off the train at the right stop because I was so involved in reading this book. So there you go. The religion aspects were there. Obviously, it was a big theme that people were doubting their faith and then coming back to God. And it's not something that I would ever be able to subscribe to in terms of a way to live my life, but I can certainly see the appeal, and it really does make for a beautiful story. My favourite character was Elijah, the missionary who'd spent 45 years in Africa and come back to the States for health reasons, and then got involved in the story, and was basically the catalyst for helping the people in the town, the family who's at the centre of the story, to find their way out of their grief and their doubt. And he was great. I loved him. He had a lot of really useful, interesting, insightful things to say. He approached things in ways that I didn't expect and the other people in the book didn't expect, and that's what helped them, because they were stuck in the middle of their grief and the repercussions of the tragedy that they had suffered. And because he was an outsider, he could come in and help them see the way forwards. I maybe not wholly on board with all of the decisions that people were led to, or the things that people decided that they needed to accept. The one of the protagonists, Annie, always like a protagonist called Annie. She made some decisions at the end that I don't know. I mean, she had options to carry on with her career, and she wasn't sure whether she was going to or not. So I don't know. It maybe felt a little bit neat, a little bit easy, but then the whole book was them being lost and stuck and unhappy, and then finding their way forwards from there. So I guess it wasn't that easy. And it wasn't, we've had this revelation now, or we've had this conversation now, and everything's going to be wonderful. It did acknowledge that compromises would need to be made. People would need to assess their actions going forwards and make changes. And people were worried about situations repeating themselves and them ending up back in a mess again. So yeah, it was very realistic from that point of view. Really enjoyed it. I would definitely read more from this author if I happen to come across more of her books. So yeah, no yeeting this one, Stanley. Really enjoyed it. 4 stars. Very helpful to have finished, because it's solving 2 not massively difficult but slightly tricky prompts for the Herkyard 2.0 hardest reading challenge you'll ever do. One of them is to become the avatar, and you have to find books with earth, air, fire and water in the title. So At the Scent of Water is my water bending title. And also one of the prompts is to pick a prompt from Herkyard 1 that you like and do that. And I picked the one where you have to find 3 books with main characters with names of people you know. So I am Annie, main protagonist in this. One of them is Annie, so solves that one as well. So great. 4 stars. Really enjoyed it. Don't really have much to criticize. The one thing that I was very much on board with was the general theme of imagining people complexly, which comes up a lot and is something that I enjoy. There's several situations where people make assumptions about other people in the book, or are annoyed by them, or have tricky relationships with them, or meet them for the first time and form impressions of them, which are then proven wrong when they find out more about their situation and understand them better. And that enables them to form deeper connections and see the world in a more complex light. So very much on board with that. Wasn't sure that I was going to be able to do this one. I thought it might make me uncomfortable. I thought aspects of it might make me want to roll my eyes. I just went with it, didn't have an issue with it. I am very happy to read books about people who are different from me. Yay! I mean, I've always hoped that would be the case, and I think this one has proven it. So, yeah, At the Scent of Water, Linda Nichols, 4 stars. Very much enjoyed it. So, I guess that's it for this episode of Read It or Yeet It. We had 1 yeet with Left Hand of Darkness by Ursula K. Le Guin, and 2 successes with The Deep by Rivers Solomon and At the Scent of Water by Linda Nichols. So I think yet again, in episode 2 of this series, the project is proving itself very valuable. It's getting books off my TBR that would probably languish there for a long time. It's prompting me to read things that I wouldn't otherwise, even though they are on the TBR for a reason, obviously. And I am either being proven right and getting rid of them, or being proven completely wrong and really enjoying them and getting a lot out of them. So yay for Read It or Yeet It. Sorry you didn't get to throw any other books off camera, Stanley. So yes, that's it for this episode, and hope to see you in the next one. Bye for now.